Okay, this is going to be a bit about doing the channels. So I'm just going to jump into Photoshop. This is the image we had before, but I've just trashed the image of the bucket fountain. So I'm going to open an image here, and it's this one we want, the tag. So I've actually right, yeah, got it back to normal. So in this case, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to select all, so Command A. And here beside the layers, you have another option called channels. So if it's not here, you'll find it up under the window. Channels is essentially just your mask. So if I do an example here, if I make a selection, I hit the quick mask, there's my mask. If I go into channels, I'll see it there. That's all that a channel is. So your mask is a channel. It's called an alpha mask. So I'll get rid of that one. So in this case, I'm going to select the whole image. I'm going to copy it, go to channels. I'll make a new channel. I always like to start with white. So white's my background color. So the quick key, Command, delete. So Command T, and those quick keys again, if I have colors here, if I hit D, I know that this has become pure black and white. If I hit X, it's going to swap them around each time I hit X. Foreground color and background color. If I want to fill with the foreground color, I hold down the Option key and hit delete. If I want to fill with the background color, I hold down the Command key and hit delete. And it's filled with white. So now I'll just go Command V. So we've got our picture there. I'm going to go Command L. And what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get rid of, in this case, as much gray as I can and just make the image pure black and white. I'll go OK. Command D, I'm just getting rid of that selection. And whether I do it with the selection tool, grab an area and go Command Delete, which fills with white, or I get Paintbrush tool, change it to foreground color to white, right square bracket to make it bigger, and just go through and knock the stuff out. All I'm doing is just making it more pure and it's black and white. And if I come up here, I don't really want this logo thing in there, so I'm going to get rid of that. Soften my brush off a bit. It's good. So black is going to block, white is going to show. Because it's this area here that's black that I want to fill, I go Command I, which is invert. I load that selection with this little dash circle down the bottom. And see the dashed line. I go to my layers. I make a new layer because I want that transparent background. And I go Option, Delete, which fills it with black. Command D, gets rid of that selection. And there it is. If I switch the other thing off, it's there. So I'm going to pull this tab a wee bit, get the arrow key, drag it over, just go OK. And it comes under here. Command T, just going to make it a bit bigger. Hit return. And what you'll notice if I come up, that the transparency is beautiful. Anything that's 50% grey or any kind of grey, it'll have a certain kind of see-throughness. Now with the colours, if I pick a colour, I go OK. We know that Option Delete fills with the foreground colour. Command delete fills with the background color. If I hold down the shift key as well, and go Option, Shift, Delete, it fills with the foreground color, but it keeps the transparency. Command, Shift, Delete is going to fill it with white, leaving the transparency. So Option, Shift, Delete, and I've got my red option, and it comes in perfectly. Now with this, I can still add a mask, and I can come in here with the paintbrush tool. Remember, black is going to block it, and I can just go, yeah, I don't want that crazy writing coming through. Let's say I just want the writing on the t-shirt. I can go to this mask of Henry, and if I hold down the Command key and I click, it selects the mask. But you can see, always look for what the square is around. That square, or the four corners, is around the mask. So that means black. And this, as it says, well, if I start drawing, it's actually wiping away what's inside Henry, Command Z. Then I have to go select inverse, or Command Shift I, and it's selecting everything except for Henry. It's like going Command I down here. So now, because I'm on here, black is going to block it, but it's using Henry as the selection device. And I can say, okay, well, what about if I just want it on his t-shirt, not on his arms? I can get harder brush, it's about 81, make it smaller with a left square bracket, and this one, yeah. Oh, it's because it's still inverse, so you can see the ring around the outside, so I want to be inside Henry now, so select, inverse, no, plus, wonder why it wasn't working. Now I'm just doing it manually, trying to not go over the t-shirt, just kind of paint it off in these arms. So obviously it's a bit softer there because it's getting caught up with the other layer. It's the feathering or the softening from. Yeah, just go for it. And if I Command D to get rid of that selection, now I can, still on that layer, I can get rid of the stuff. It was getting caught up with the softness that was on that mask of Henry's. All right, so we've got that. Oh, we needed to take it off his as well. And now I can, and actually I can paint it back in. Remember I was a bit rough over on this area here. So if I swap it around, X, so white, and paint it back in. Okay. And now I can actually go through here and say, okay, well maybe I'm going to try multiply, bring the opacity down a bit so it looks like it's, you know, more on his t-shirt. There was another option here as well, where if I double click on the layer, not on the mask, remember I can say, okay, the underneath, maybe the lightest areas, the t-shirt, going to come through. See if I take it back to normal. So if we look at these areas around the shoulder, so you can actually kind of option, split that triangle to soften it a bit, and kind of mix it in with the t-shirt. But what about the darkest areas then? Maybe the darkest areas are the areas that we deal with the t-shirt. Option, soften it. Might just make it look like it's sitting on there a wee bit more realistically. Okay. So let's have a look at what else we've got here. Open. Tag. Okay, so we've got our perspective drawing. This one, it looks like I've already done it, so I'll see if I can revert that back. So back to the drawing. Select all, going to cut it. I'll go to the channels, make a new channel, paste it. I'll get the levels. Actually, maybe I'll keep it as more of a grayscale. Maybe I'll just make sure the whites up a little bit, so there's no, it gets rid of any kind of dirty paper. Command I. Select. You can see it's grey rather than white now. So it's just keeping the softness of the pencil sketch. Layers, new layer. It doesn't really matter if I fill it with red, but I'll fill it with black first. That's it, and I can decide where I'm gonna have it. Maybe I have it down near the bottom. I'll fill it with something that's closer to the blue. So I'll select the blue, click on the color. So I'll pick a darker color, a little bit darker. Option, Shift, keep the transparency, delete. Not so dark, so maybe I'll try and multiply. That's it, and it just joins it in with the background a little bit more. And let's say, okay, I want to use the selection of Henry again. Command, click on it. I'll make a quick mask up here. And see this one, because I had the selection, it's already made the mask. I do Command I. So it's hiding, you can see the black, hiding off Henry and showing it in the background. Maybe I don't want it on the lizard as well, so I can Command, get that selection. Oops. And I can add to the mask. So with this one here, black, I want to fill it with black. Option, delete on that mask, and you can see that on there the two of them join together, so that that drawing won't come over the top. It means now though that if I get another image, so I've got this card that I already cut out before. Chuck it in, and I just make sure it's underneath the blue layer. So you can see, actually what I'll do is I'll drag it right down so it's below Henry as well, so it's going behind him, but it's still being affected by the drawing. And maybe I'll just change the opacity down on that one. And then you can see that the drawing sits over top of the car. So we've got that. So behind Henry, but over top of the lizard. So I'm just going to quickly stop sharing and open up the internet. Maps. Okay, I'll go back to this one that we had before, or maybe there's another more interesting map. Actually, I'm going to go for city maps. See what comes up. Oh, I have to check again. Tools large. Yeah, that's good. Let's try this one. Tab. Save that. And share Photoshop. File open. Grab my map. Same thing. Select all. Command A. Cut it. Channels. New channel. Paste. This one I don't really need to do much. Command L, it's pretty good as it is. And Command I to invert it. Hit the selection, back to layers. This is transparent layer, so I can just click on that. Option delete, which is blue. That's fine because I know I can change it to whatever color I want. Now I'm just going to drag it in here. And there we go. So we've got our map coming up. Try it as black. Option Shift delete to keep the transparency. There's a red. Option Shift red. Take it right down the bottom, but above the blue. And you've got bits here as well where again I can add a mask to it. And I'm going to get a soft brush, right square bracket, and I'm just going to show that perspective, let that perspective drawing show through a wee bit. Again, maybe I can take it right up the top and use the Mask of Henry, so Command like that, and work on the mask. Black to block out. Make it a bit bigger. On there, you can also remember take the opacity right down, so I can eat into it bit by bit, not at 100%. So if we watch this area up here, black, 13%, it needs to be a bit There we go. You can see it. So just clicking and eating away at it bit by bit, so it's not quite so harsh. And I can go select, inverse, and say, okay, well, I'm going to use Henry as a bit of a mask. So make sure I'm still on the layer of the map. Black, I'll put it up to 100% for this section. Command D, and we're starting to get the map coming on. The map, you might put on, multiply is going to darken it. We can see it makes it black. It keeps a little bit of red on the white areas. Lighting's quite nice in the background. It's green. Maybe I'm just going to leave it on normal and see what happens if I take the opacity down a little bit. Okay, and let's try one more. So we'll grab this image here, Command All, Command C to copy it, channels, new channel, paste. I'm just going to use Command D, use the object selection tool. There we go, select inverse, so it's got everything other than the figure. Command delete, which fills with background color. Command D. And I'm going to leave it like that, so it's got a lot of grayscale in it. Command I, revert it, load the selection, come into the layers. Now right at the top, I'll make a new layer, and I'm going to go delete, so it's filled with red. Command T. So we can scale it, return, and again, this is a transparent layer. So if I change it to black, Option Shift, delete to fill it with a foreground color. This is what we get. The grayscale becomes semi transparent. Option Shift to get that color. So it doesn't look like an odd negative. We probably need a darker color. So I'll try dark blue. Option Shift Delete. That's a bit better. And again, all these sorts of things of using the mask. So I can come down to the figure here, Command, click. So we can see the selection there. We can come up to Henry, and we can click the mask. It's the wrong way around, so go Command I, and you can see it's blocking out this figure and letting the image show through in the background. Click on the image, change the transparency down a bit, and there we go. Using the channels.